I did get the popcorn bucket this time.
What is it?
It was very familiar. It was...
All right, that's really cool.
Well, the funniest thing about
Does
this...
it have crypto on the other side?
It does. It's got crypto on the other side.
Cool.
I've now got 2 of these because this was the Dogman bucket.
Oh, I was going to say or Paw Patrol or something like that. Yeah.
It was the Dogman bucket. I saw it sitting there and I was like...
That doesn't look like that would hold much popcorn.
Oh, that's why I think they eventually kind of figured that out, is that the gimmicky popcorn buckets, when you look at them, sometimes they're like smaller than a small.
Yeah.
So it comes with like a large popcorn on the side.
Okay.
Like,
That's smart.
When you see pictures of me, like when I post myself with the popcorn bucket, and I'm like, it got so like eating it like that, it's because I've taken a handful from the bucket and just put it in there.
Oh, that's funny.
And then dumped it back.
Because yours is already empty.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was, I typically get them empty. Then I take them home and Jack plays with them.
Well, then you can feed your cats in there too, so that's perfect.
Well, they can have the Dogman bowl now.
There you go.
Set that back there with the rest of the junk and probably 50 popcorn buckets. Go ahead.
I was going to say this hardly seems fair because we practically have a pair of Lex Luthors reviewing a Superman movie.
This is true.
Like, all the comments are my review. It's just like, I love the Lex Luthor cosplay he did for this. I'm like, damn it, my video's like 40 minutes. It's stupidly long. And it's like, I never made a joke about that. It was right there the whole time.
When I was watching Lex most of the time, there were a couple times I thought he looked a little like Trevor.
I can see that, yeah, Trevor Bueller.
He was great in that movie. I thought Nicholas
Superman?
Hoult. Yeah, Nicholas Hoult. Or did you not like him?
Boy, we're gonna disagree a lot on this, man.
Here's the
I don't think it's his fault. I didn't like him as Lex Luthor.
I loved him.
And I was ready to like him. I love him as an actor.
Me too.
And this is the week of me, for the first time, seeing him in 2 bad performances, because I also just saw the Garfield movie, and he plays John.
Oh, he's in that?
Yeah. Well, let me put it this way. That's what Rob said when he was looking at the phone while we were watching it, and looking at info. He says, that's Nicholas Hoult. I'm like, what? I'm just like, oh, man, it is not a good week for me and Nicholas Hoult.
Just finally get Steve Guttenberg to play John, please.
That makes the most sense.
Yeah, after all these years, like, come on.
Even if you don't see him, he sounds like him. But we're not talking about Garfield, we're talking about Superman.
That's true. I missed that one when it was out. I still got the popcorn bucket for it, though. No, I haven't seen your review of the movie yet, but from the headline of your review, I couldn't. What was it? It was like
I have thoughts.
I have thoughts. I was like, I don't know if that's a trick.
No, I legit do. I know, so we stopped, but the first time I started doing that was with Amelia Perez, because I wasn't implying to review it, but so many people were talking about it, so I was just like, well, I can't just say Amelia Perez. I just put, I saw Amelia Perez, and it got so many clicks. I was just like, all right, well, now I won't even say the movie. I'll just have the poster, and I'll just have, like, some sort of sum up. And people seem to respond pretty well to that, so it's not meant to be clickbaity, and I certainly go on my way for that, but it's like, I actually do kind of like doing that. Like,
no, I like it too.
Yeah, because you kind of have a funny little title. Yeah. That's like, well, here's a preview of the review. I guess a preview review. My
click thing is whenever I do like goofy stuff with the thumbnails, putting my face on a zombie or I think that's the last time on the Cinema Snob, I got Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers coming up, so I put myself on a chainsaw wielding hooker.
I was gonna say, you better be the hooker, or you could just be the chainsaw, like, hey, like all these chains around your head and stuff like that.
Yeah, there might as well have been a chainsaw with a face in that film. What were your thoughts on the movie?
I overall did like it.
Did you?
There's with a lot of asterisks, though, like a lot. There's one thing I really did not like, and we don't have to go into spoilers, but we'll get to it as we go through the rest of the review. But like, it was such a major thing when I was doing my review, I kind of had to split it up into. I'm going to talk about the whole movie, then I'm going to talk about, without going into spoilers, that one thing I really didn't like, even though I acknowledge there's an idea. I see why they did. I know what they were trying to do with it. It just didn't belong in Superman, I felt like. But kicking that aside, because that is one element. You know, it's a major, but it's one element. Everything else, it's super messy. It's super crowded, but I do like most of the actors. It does look good. It is a spectacle. Did you see it on IMAX?
No, I didn't.
Oh, it was because the whole thing was shot in
Yeah.
IMAX. And it was really impressive on IMAX. Well, and okay, so now, so I'm going to be really interested in your point of how you saw it then, because the action sequences, and you saw Guardians 3, right?
Yeah.
So with that one action scene they have near the end where it's all one shot, it's this fisheye lens, and it's just super close on everybody, it's really well planned out. Every action scene in this film is shot like that.
Yeah.
And if you told me that, I'd be like, well, that's going to get old really fast. But on IMAX, it looked fantastic. And with the exception of one scene where Mr. Terrific, is that it? It has Lois in this bubble and he's doing a fight outside, which is a great idea. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I've just seen that done so many times in this movie. I was like, maybe I'm starting to get sick of this. But then all the other action sequences like really won me over, and it just really, really looked fantastic on IMAX. And I remember saying, I don't know how it's going to look, even on the small screen or even just a regular movie theater screen. So how were the action sequences?
Impressive.
Okay.
Because it wasn't on the IMAX screen, but it was on like the second largest screen in the theater, and I was sitting up there pretty close. So
I'm assuming it was pretty packed.
Yeah, it was very packed. yeah. And I was the only one with the dog bowl bucket.
That's funny.
But no, it was, so I even kind of felt that on the screen that I saw it in. And I liked the movie too. I did. And there were a lot of things about it that I could see going wrong, but it never really did for me. Not that I didn't have a couple of issues with it, but like you mentioned, it's a very fast-paced film, and there are a lot of characters in it.
There's a lot of subplots too. I mean, there's a lot. This film just starts you off like, I almost said in my review, but I said, I think everybody's going to say this, and they are. Every critic is saying it feels like a second movie. And I do agree, to some extent, it is, though, because everybody does know Superman and the origin, and I get that they don't want to do the origin again. It is so tricky to do. The only one I can think of that really did it just spectacularly, I mean, just did everything spectacularly, was the Spider-Verse movies. So it does have a little bit of a disadvantage that's in a hard spot, but it's following two movies now that have just aced this. I mean, took something that everybody's seen a million times, put a new spin on it, made it uniquely the film's own, but it's still very true to what the character is and the lore is and everything else. And this one's not bad, but if somebody says there's too much going on, it's too crowded, it's messy, and I don't even know why some characters are doing something, I couldn't really disagree that hard. So it's not a movie that I loved, but there's just enough that pulled me through that I'm like, especially again, just the visual spectacle of it, certainly. And the overall core of Superman is there, and the characters, and even, like I said, there's only one thing where I die hard disagreed, but even Lex, who I said I wasn't the biggest fan of in this, you know, he's close enough. You know, it's not my thing, but it's like, okay, I see. And it is something where I really blame James Gunn for that, because it really is just the villain from Guardians 3 again, and I didn't like the villain in Guardians. He's just a shouty brat, and that's not fun to me. And honestly, I could be wrong, but I feel like, again, this is, and I usually like these movies, but I feel like we're getting too much of them, kind of the Eat the Rich movies, which are usually very entertaining, like The Menu, and what was there one, like Triangle of Sadness and stuff like that. But I want to say I've seen like 5 in the past year, and I feel like I've just seen this archetype so much, and yes, I also see them in reality a lot. So there is something about it, but then like after Jesse Eisenberg too, I'm just like, all right, can we just have a cool, calculating Lex who's quiet, you know, strong men of real power, don't yell, don't scream. Can we get that again? Because I'm really thinking on the big screen, we haven't had that Lex.
Yeah.
We've had it in the animated series. I mean, that's probably my favorite one in the animated series. Is that Clancy Brown who did him? I want to see that on the big screen. That's why I was so excited for Nicholas Hoult, because he could nail that. But like I said, this just has the mark of the of the car needs 3 bad guy all over him. So it wasn't my thing, but at the same time, he's giving 1,000,000%. He is just throwing everything.
That's probably why I liked it so much. I liked how really unlikable they made him. And he was in... I agree with what you're saying, where you see that type of villain or commentary in a lot of things. It didn't bother me here just because I just expect that out of Lex Luthor, so...
And it is literally a comic book movie.
Yeah, right.
I mean, if there's any place you can kind of get away with that.
And the criticism that people would have in it, like you were saying, I would see where they're coming from on it. It's just a lot of stuff that didn't really bother me necessarily, in that, yeah, it's not an origin story. I like that. I found that refreshing.
I was okay with that, too.
Yeah. I did, and I was never, even though it can feel like a second movie, I was never lost in it or anything.
It held my hand just enough. There were some times where I would forget a character even existed in the movie. I still, for the life of me, do not remember. People say this is a spoiler. I don't know how it's a spoiler. I said Lois flew a UFO, and everyone's like, "Stop it! Don't tell me!" Like, that's a spoiler, especially when you know everything else that happens in this movie. That's a spoiler. I did not follow A, how she knew how to fly that damn thing. B, why she brought all the other reporters with her, and what she was doing. I can't remember what the reasoning was.
Okay, I was actually thinking the same thing when I was watching it, but the movie is wall to wall, a lot of things going on, a lot of action that I honestly kind of sat there like, maybe I missed a line or something. Maybe it was something I missed.
I'm sure they did explain it. Well, I'm sure they explained it, like you said, maybe in a line.
Yeah.
But yeah, they didn't make it that clear. She was fantastic.
Yeah, I thought she was really good.
It's funny because when I heard her and Nicholas Hoult were playing those roles, I really thought it'd be the other way around. I thought, well, Holt can do that in his sleep. She's awesome in Miss Maisel, but I was thinking, but that's a very particular style, and I'm like, is that going to match Superman or not? Is that going to be too big, too over the top? And it was the complete opposite for me. Like, he was a little too big for me, and she just like breathed that role. Yeah. I mean, I just like, the minute she started talking, like, I just believe this is Lois Lane, like, immediately.
Yeah.
And I really dug her a lot. What'd you think of the guy who played Superman?
I thought he was really good. I did enjoy him. His Clark Kent is honestly not in the movie very much.
No, there's not a ton of them.
When the first scene of him as Clark, I wasn't really feeling it. Like, it was kind of starting out a little bit wooden, but the more he went on as Clark, again, Clark Kent's not in the movie very much, but the little that he is in, the more he went on with it, I was enjoying his Clark Kent a lot more. And I liked his take on Superman too, which is that Superman he's a much more vulnerable character in this. He's a little bit more thin-skinned, like internet trolls get to him in this one.
That's another thing. I don't think this is a spoiler, but that's another thing they had in this movie, where one of Lex's plans is that, I guess I won't go too much into it, but it has aliens something. I won't ruin LA to see the movie, but aliens writing troll lines online, and I'm saying to myself, bull crap, you don't need that. We will be more than happy to do that. What on earth are you talking? Well, we have to create this alien, all these different aliens to create misinformation and stuff. Why? We do it for free. Happily.
I didn't think about that. That's true. That's one thing that happens in the movie, to compare that to what we were saying about her flying that ship, where I was kind of like, huh? But everything else that is kind of, I guess, random in it, I went along with, because the movie, from the very beginning, it sets up what the tone is. You certainly get a feel for what this world is. So when Lex Luthor is introducing a lot of different things in this movie, from now you've got me worried. Well,
yeah, I was like, take it away.
This, let's say, prison, that he has, in a lesser script, I would be kind of like, this is coming out of nowhere. And then when it's showing the trolls, what he's doing with the trolls, again, same thing could happen if it's poorly done, but it's just done such a way where it works in this universe with just a line or two to explain it.
It's weirdly smart throwing everything at you at the beginning, because it's an idea of like, we're going to be fast, we're going to be throwing a lot of crazy, keep up, because we're having fun. And it's like, it does look like they're having fun, but they're also talking about important stuff. So it is kind of like, well, okay, I'll go along with it. Sure, okay. And yeah, it did win me over enough. The interesting thing I thought about the guy who played, got Moth in here now. That's gonna bother me the whole review.
David Cornsweet, is that his name?
Is that he played it much more like a. I know Superman's supposed to be the every guy. He's really the every guy in there. Like he says, "Dude," which is interesting to hear Superman say. But but it's one of those things I was just like, this might take a little getting used to, and but it still keeps to the heart. I mean, he's like still a Boy Scout, to a comical degree, he wants to save everybody. We're just gonna be watching that the whole time.
Yeah, we are.
You won't believe a moth can fly. It was like raining out. What's he doing? Maybe that's it. He's trying to get out of the rain. But yeah, it's one of those things where it did take a little getting used to, but I'm like, but that is different. It does stick to kind of what Superman is, and it does seem like a very modern update. Yeah. So it's one of those things where I kind of go, all right, I'm not going to say he's like one of my favorites or anything, but it's like, I buy this okay. And it was a little different, and it's a fresh take that I'm kind of like, I'm open to this. It's a lot of the things in this I was more open to than I thought I would be. Again, except for one thing. I'll get to the end of it.
I know. I'm trying to guess what it's going to be, and I have a feeling I know what it is. But I mean, this has it really is James Gunn doing a live action cartoon. Like it is. It embraces how goofy it is. Yeah, for sure.
To a point where, did you feel at all? This is one of the problems I had, that the tone did go back and forth a little too much.
I did, well, not...
The scene with Lex and the gun, that's where I finally went, okay, there might be some tone problems with this movie.
The reason why I can see why that would be a problem, the reason why it wasn't so much with me was that, for the most part, a lot of this movie is a comedy. I mean, it is. Like, looking at it, I was like, it's kind of a better version of Superman 3. Or 4, even, honestly. But, the reason why I thought it balanced it fairly well, because there are serious moments in it. There's that kind of brutal scene right there. And also a moment he has with Pa Kent later on. That kind of switch wasn't taking me out of it, because whenever there was a more dramatic moment in it, they were letting those moments happen. They
didn't always need a Marvel quip or something like that. Yeah.
That's why it didn't bother me. That's why those shifts didn't really bother me.
Or when they did have a joke, the scene with Lex and the gun. I mean, it is one of those things I'm like, that still seems very out of character again for him not to be more prepared, but at the same time, I do like the line he had right after. Again, I won't spoil it, but after that scene, I did kind of chuckle. I'm like,
I did too.
I'm like, okay, that doesn't feel like Lex, but it does feel very James Gunn dark humor. And I do like James Gunn's dark humor, probably the most out of all of his humor.
I think a gag that probably got the biggest laugh out of me is there's a scene where Superman and Lois are talking, and there is just another action scene going on in the background with the other heroes in the movie.
You know, and again, that bothered me, because even though it was fun, I totally acknowledge this is funny, this is a guy... I don't think this is a spoiler either. He saves a squirrel. That's how dedicated he is to trying to save everything, to a comical degree and everything, which I laughed hard at. I thought that was hilarious. But when you have a scene where he is so obsessed with saving people, even the monster he's trying to stay is like, well, couldn't we have found a way to send him to some sort of giant monster prison, or couldn't we have found a more humane way to euthanize him and stuff? Like, this is just clearly everything goes on in his mind, And then in that scene, you know, this action scene is going, this giant monster, and he's like, oh, they got it. Anyway, let's talk. And I'm like, that's not the same guy I saw 2 scenes ago.
You're right, and that thought did come into my head. I forgave it because I thought it was a funny gag. Like,
yeah, that is
really
one of those things where I'm just like, everything that doesn't work, I'm kind of like, but there is something kind of either fun or cool about it.
Yeah.
So I was laughing at that. I definitely was, but I'm like, this doesn't match though. And I do think that's a problem. Where the James Gunn style, which I'll admit before this, I was already starting to get a little tired of. Like, it's becoming a little too formulaic. But this one had enough freshness to it, where I'm like, you know, okay, this works enough. And he clearly does really like Superman and Thor and all the characters and stuff like that. But yes, that style, it was sometimes getting in the way for me, where I'm like, okay, you know, the same thing with like Joss Whedon, where everybody loved him doing Avengers, and then everyone, oh, now they're, thanks, Joss. You know, you could tell when a Whedon line popped up and everything, and Gunn is getting to that point, and that concerns me. But I do like this movie, and that doesn't necessarily mean he won't be a bad producer for other, you know, all the other DC movies coming out and stuff like that. No,
because he's taking his time with the movies and not and not filling slates every single year with multiple movies and everything. Like, whether one comes out, whether it turns out good or bad, it's like, well, at least he's like taking his time between the films. At least he wants a finished script to be done before they start shooting it. The only character like that I kind of had an issue with was Eve, Lex's girlfriend. She was a little too over the top for me a lot, even though she kind of had a genius plan later on in it.
Well, and that there are moments too, and again, I forgive it, it's a comic book movie, but I know what you're talking about. And when she did that, and the reporters didn't put it together at first, I'm like, oh, are you reporters or not? Come on.
I put it together before they did.
Immediately. Immediately. I'm not a reporter.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there definitely are moments like there. Somebody will do something where you're just like, seriously, movie? But again, it's like, it's Superman. It's kind of meant to be corny. And there's just so much going on anyway. I usually forget about it 2 seconds later because they're on to the next plot point. But again, I did follow it enough. I did like the people, and I like the performances, most of them, a fair amount. Yeah, I mean, overall, I did like it. Should I talk about the thing I really didn't like?
What?
Or do you got?
One more thing
Sure.
I'll say is just that I did think it balanced the characters really well. Like, if I get why some might think that it would be a bit cluttered, because there are a lot of characters in this.
I could have used more of actually him and Lois together.
Yeah.
Because they did have good chemistry, but I'm like, man, they could have great chemistry if they only had a little bit more time together. And also, maybe we didn't, drop into their story at the point where they were, which is interesting. But I'm like, man, these two would have amazing chemistry if we saw them at a different point. You know what I mean? But the chemistry is still good. I bought it. I believed it.
Yeah, and the other characters like Green Lantern, like Mr. Terrific, it's not just a random cameo that happens. I thought that they were integrated into the story well. I never sat there thinking, this is too much, this is too many characters, this shouldn't be here, that shouldn't be here. I never really felt that. I thought that they were very organically put into it. And I liked Nathan Fillion's performance. I love the guy who played Mr. Terrific. I thought he was excellent.
Well, and even, I mean, what do I know about Hawkgirl? Not a damn thing, but just the way, like, she was playing it, like, she was both, like, kind of done with all this, but at the same time, you could tell, like, she kind of liked kicking ass, and that cool, like, screech she had when she flew and everything. I'm like, this character's kind of fun, too. So even the ones that don't get a ton of screen time are like, still kind of, everybody's cool in some respect, in some way. Even like I said, I wasn't a big fan of Nicholas Hoult as Lex, but it's like, but there's still cool stuff. There's a lot of cool stuff about him. It's not like something else, like every time he's on screen, I'm like, oh, get him off. It's like, no, there's a ton ton of cool things. And you're right, there are a lot of evil moments where I'm like, oh, that's evil.
Yeah.
That's like crazy evil.
He was relishing in being unlikable, and I was digging it. I really, really was. But okay, now I gotta know.
Okay, so again, I won't go into spoilers. I said my review. I don't even have to go into spoilers. I just have to say the name of the characters. Superman's parents.
Not what I thought you were gonna say.
Really? Okay. Well, what do you think I was gonna say?
I thought you were gonna say the turn that, and I didn't. I can see why people might have a problem with this. I didn't, but the kind of turn that it takes with Jor-El, Superman's dad.
That's Superman's parents.
I thought you were talking about Ma and Pa.
Nope.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You were 100% right.
I was right. I was right.
100%.
I was right while simultaneously being a dumbass. I thought you were talking because at first.
No, Ma, Pa, Kid. No. Like the alien parents. Yeah.
Okay.
No, and I legit, even though I do see what they were going for, and I could see it working in something else, but I think for something with a change that major, there's not enough time dedicated to it. That could be its own movie.
Yeah.
Like you could have that be the focus, and maybe like Lex doing something and a few other characters, and then you could keep it to that because that's interesting. That's a fascinating story you could really analyze. And on top of that, when it's kind of like finding out, I don't know, Alfred was the Joker the whole time or something like that. Just like. Yeah, you can do that, and it'd be interesting. How would that work and everything? But just like, that feels so insulting to the characters and all the different iterations of the characters. I just feel like what they did with that, even though I do get the point of it, and what it's trying to say, it just felt like a stain on those characters and like all the of those characters that came before it. The only way I could see that working in this way, the way they did it, is if it was in something like The Boys, like it's kind of like a satire, kind of like a dark satire.
Yeah.
I could see it working. There you could devote that exact same amount of time and it could work. But I mean, for legit, not a parody of Superman, that didn't feel right to me.
Yeah, I 100% see what you're saying. I do. What I can compare it to is how people had a lot of problems with what they did to Phelps in the first Mission Impossible.
It reminded me of that. It was one of the few times where I'm like, I didn't have a problem at all with like what they do with Luke Skywalker in Last Jedi, but this is one of those where I was like, oh, maybe this is what they were feeling, because I did feel like, oh, I'm actually like, I didn't even know I cared that much about these characters, but now that I see them do this, I'm like, I'm kind of pissed off. I really didn't like that. But again, it's something where I can't say that destroys the film, because I do see what it's trying to do. And like I said, if it wasn't in Superman, it was in something like The Boys, maybe it could work. But if you're gonna do it in Superman, it's still a big if with a capital I, because I still don't know if that could work. You have to devote more time to it, big time. Yes, even God doesn't like it.
Yeah.
So that was definitely a major hang-up. To a point where I did not even. I was waiting the whole movie. I was in complete denial. I was like, well, that's not really what's going on. Come on, get to that this was a plan of Lex, get to that this was what's going on. And literally, when it got to the last scene, the last shot, I was like, oh, that was real? Like, that's really what they were doing? And the credits started rolling, I'm like, oh. And I was just driving home. I'm thinking about everything else, but I'm just thinking, this is Superman's parents. My God, they did them dirty. Kind of thing.
I don't know. I wouldn't put it past Marlon Brando to do something like that. No, I guess I'm just not close enough to the material to where it bothered me that much, but I can't disagree with anyone where that's the case. In this, I did like the conflict that it set up, where people were then starting to turn on, the people in the news were starting to turn on Superman a bit. And then the closeness that he has with his Earth parents, going towards that good scene that he has.
Even that I could have used a little bit more. I mean, again, if if we are going to do this, really dive into it and show more of his Earth parents as well. Like that was a good scene, but it's a scene. We get one other bit in the opening where they're on the phone, and that's it. And I'm just like, man, I could have used so much more of that. And you could have done something with it if there wasn't all these other subplots going on. So that is, when I say it is too busy, that's kind of what I'm talking about, where everything else I'd be fine with. It's when you're introducing an idea that different and that big and something that can really be explored. That is when I say this is too crowded, and this is a legit problem. But again, the spectacle of it, the funness of it, even though the tones go back and forth and can be distracting on their own, they're pretty good. I feel like you could take any 5-10 minutes of this movie. I said it's a good YouTube movie where you could show any clip of this movie and people be like, that is awesome. Yeah. Man, what they're talking about is so neat. And oh, that's cool how they did that. Oh, what they're discussing is really neat. And this is kind of near the end, I thought it got a little too speech heavy, but again, the speeches weren't bad. I do kind of like the last, speech that Superman gives, and again, it's very on the nose. There's no room for interpretation. It's exactly what he's saying, but it's not bad, I mean, he delivers it very passionately. So, yeah, it is one of those where I'm like, I did like it just enough, but again, there's quite a few asterisks in there. Yeah,
I mean, the climax was certainly very climaxy. There were things about it that were familiar to a lot of different movies like this. And I thought Pa and Ma Kent were in it just enough, because I don't know how much. I like their scene later in the movie. I thought that was one of the best scenes in the film. When it was them on the phone early near the beginning, I was glad there wasn't more of that.
No, I'm okay not having that, but again, just some traditional Ma and Pa Kent scenes, like from the first movie and stuff.
No, I mean, if they were written a bit differently than they were in that first scene, if there was more stuff that was like that first scene with them, they felt a little sitcom-y to me.
Yeah, no, I agree. Up. And I only because I knew there was a scene, because it's in the trailers where the father's sitting down and talking to him. I was just like, okay, this is gonna get better.
Yeah, I was probably thinking the same thing. What grade would you end up giving it?
A B. That's a good middle of the road B.
I'm going back and forth between a B and a B plus. I'll probably say a B. I'll probably go ahead and say a B, because the thing about doing these reviews directly after I see them is I feel like there should be an asterisk where it's like, give it 24 hours and it'll probably be a notch below or a notch above. Well, this is not going to be an A minus.
Well, this was one, the theater I had to see it at was about, with traffic, it was about maybe an hour away. So, like, sometimes when there's a movie that has, like, a lot going on or a lot to kind of process, I do have that drive home. The other one was probably the Barbie movie, where I'm just like, what did I think of this movie? I'm like, there's a lot of things I liked, and a lot of things I'm like, I don't know about it. So sometimes that drive back can help it, but you're not far, from where you see him. I mean, you're like, 5 minutes away, something like that. So it's just like, okay, that's not that's not a ton of time to process that.
It really isn't. So while I'm sitting here going like, B plus, tomorrow I'd probably say a B. So I'll go ahead and go with that. It's not a big. I won't call it a B minus. No, like it's a B. I should go ahead and give it a B.
I think that's the first time we actually had like a grade we just
both agree
on.
Yeah.
There's usually at least a plus or a minus minimum.
Yeah.
Usually it's off by a letter, but actually this is the first time we've actually a couple of B's from a couple of Lex Luthors.
Someday we gotta have our first F.
Oh, come on. No, didn't we have what was it? Not Playing with Fire. What was it? The religious fireman movie, firefighter movie.
Oh.
What was that? Oh, it was so great.
Man.
I mean, it was definitely an F. But it was so bad, it was amazing.
Yeah, I think we did both give that an F. It was
Praying with Fire or something like that.
Praying with Fire. I wish I would remember it if it was called. We reviewed a faith-based movie where it was like Dean Cain was the minister.
Yeah, I think me and one other critic are like the only reviewers on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's hilarious.
Faith Under Fire, was that it?
Faith Under Fire.
That was it. I knew Fire was in there. Praying with Fire would have been better.
And then I have to narrow it down to which faith-based movie about a fireman that I saw.
Yeah, that's right. It's weirdly a genre.
It is a genre. There's that movie. There's First Responders, I think it was called. There was the Trump Prophecy, which First Responders was just a recut of that film. Paid to see the same damn movie twice. But I guess we don't really have anything next week because we'll be at Connecticut.
Yeah. See us at Connecticut or see us at Galloping Ghost this weekend.
Galloping Ghost this weekend.
Yeah, with
sure.
James Rolfe. He's going to be there, man.
Yeah, we'll be there at Galloping Ghosts here, and then next weekend with Connecticut. I looked at what movies were next weekend too, and I was like, I hope it's something that I don't need to see. Oh shit, it's the new I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Oh, was that Fantastic Four or anything?
No, I guess Fantastic.
Oh, thank God. Okay, I thought that was next week. Okay, I don't
think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I was just sort of like, I guess I Know What You Did Last Summer would be higher on my priority.
I mean, again, maybe if it is, I'll just do it as a Disney December or something like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna end up doing a snob anyway on that new I Know What You Did Last Summer because I did the other three. But I'll try to have like just a mini review on there. If anything, to Photoshop my face on the fisherman.
No, you should be the hook. Just hey.
I haven't figured out how to go that high tech yet. To put my face on the objects. See you guys.
Bye.